Why it will be difficult to extradite Simon Ekpa to Nigeria. This is an analysis from Vince Onyekwelu on the morning show on Arise Television News. The recent arrest of Simon Ekpa, a pro-Biafran agitator in Finland, has sparked debate about the possibility of his extradition to Nigeria. Before we delve right into the details of today's news, if this is your first time here or you have not subscribed to this channel, kindly click on the subscribe button, like this video, also leave your opinions in the comment section below as well. According to Vince Onyekwelu, a former British police officer and national security risk strategist, the process is legally feasible but highly complicated. In an interview with Arise News, Onyekwelu stated that while extradition is almost impossible, though not 100% impossible, several legal and procedural orders must be addressed before such an outcome can be realized. One of the primary challenges lies in the absence of an extradition treaty between Finland and Nigeria. This means that Finland authorities have jurisdiction over Ekpa's case and the right to prosecute him for any charges brought against him. Onyekwelu emphasized that this step is essential to ensure due diligence within Finland's legal framework. Furthermore, the criminal justice of the European Union would need to evaluate the case before approving any potential extradition, adding another layer of complexity. The European legal system would assess two critical factors: the charges against Ekpa and his fundamental rights as an individual. Onyekwelu explained that Ekpa must answer accusations such as inciting violence and advocating for self-determination for Biafra within a court of law. Beyond the specifics of the charges, the CJEU would also examine whether extraditing him to Nigeria aligns with European principles of human rights and justice. Human rights concerns could significantly influence the decision. Nigeria's human rights record, particularly regarding its treatment of political detainees and activists, is expected to be scrutinized. Onyekwelu highlighted this point, saying the Chief of Defense Staff should go home and relax and sleep because they, Finnish authorities and the CJEU, have to consider the human rights records in Nigeria as a country. Professionally speaking, the chances are possible to extradite Simon Ekpa to Nigeria. However, in my opinion, it is almost impossible, though not 100% impossible, because 1, there is no extradition treaty between Finland and Nigeria. 2, the Finnish authority have every right to take him to court to answer to the charges against him. And that is perfect, that's due diligence, and afterwards, the CJEU, the criminal justice of the European Union, also have a right under the European human rights to also test if it's suitable to be extradited to Nigeria based on 1, the charges against him, and 2, the fundamentals, because he has to defend himself in a court of law. You cannot just bring charges without him answering in response to the reasons why he is inviting violence, to the fundamental, why he thinks there is a reason for him to request for self-determination for the people of Biafra. The Criminal Court of Justice of the European Union have to check if they believe in self-determination, if they believe in human rights abuses, because bringing that man to Nigeria is a great idea, but the Chief of Defense Staff should go home, relax, and sleep, because they have to consider the human rights records in Nigeria as a country. I think that, with all of these, things that this man has said will be considered before an extradition is possible, I think Nigeria is going to fail, because when it comes to human rights for our activists, and human rights to detainees. I think Nigeria should be like 10 over 100 when it in as regards that, when it comes to human rights. And I think that the international community also know that. Recently, the Binance, one of the Binance executive who was arrested was released. The United States expressed the fact that he was not treated well. Even when he needed medical attention, they were not allowed to see him and all of that. You know, the kind of maltreatment that was melted out to him even before his release, I think would not go unnoticed to the European Union. So those are the things they will consider. And I know that as far as human rights is concerned, Nigeria Nigeria is going to fail automatically. So which means that we shouldn't be expecting an extradition anytime soon, unless probably a miracle happens and only God knows. But right now, I'm just not optimistic about the extradition. Before we go, let's take a look at some of the reactions we got online. Moses Douglas says, when people pass through law school to become a lawyer, not all of them do practice because most of them went to school, but school did not pass through them in school. Cause when you meet such lawyer, surely you lose case. This country is like such lawyer, and I so much believe that Finland have laws and they abide by their law with purity. It will be tried over there and it will go home. Yes, freedom is not taken from the oppressor willingly. It is taken by force if you extradite Simon. Charles Edobo says, very much stupid thought, as if the relationship between Nigeria and Finland is mere one fanfare, as if European Union has coloration of individual states. Simon Ekpa will extradited easily, is a criminal wanted in Nigeria. Okay. Emmanuel White says, Nigeria is a place where hate and power supersede over the law. They use poor Kenya by against MNK, pumping money to them. Finland can be bribed against the law, so Nigeria should go and sit down. Another person says, by the name Christian, says, you are one of the Igbos hater we are talking about, Mr. Olagoke. What brings you in this comment? Is this comment about Sunday Oduduwa, your brother? Go home and relax. Hey, so because it's Simon Ekpa, no Yoruba person must choke mouth. Anyway, Umba Pressure says, I beg Finland government to extradite Simon Ekpa. Zoo country think they have a capacity to keep Simon Ekpa and MNK in detention, Abi. I laugh in Swahili language. Please try it and let's see. What are your thoughts? Let's have them in the comment section below. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done that. I will see you all in my next video. Bye for now.